Welcome back to another exciting episode of Spitball Media Podcast. This is where we spit out the top entertainment stories of the week, each and every week, just for you. The top stories in the entertainment media landscape. My name is John Draper. Joining me on this weekly voyage is none other than the Prince of Philadelphia, the returning champion himself, Mr. Shaheen. Shaheen, welcome back. Did you have a good week off?
What's up, man? I worked for the most part. But yeah, it was a good week so far. No rain. I'm glad, man. We got rain, no snow.
It's snowing
It's
right
semi decent here. It's not as cold as it usually is, so I have no complaints.
Yeah, we're definitely ahead of the curve with the snow upstate. And of course, you know him, you love him. The B stands for bonus show this weekend for Patreon. Mr. B Show Brian. B Show Brian, how is the weather in the old Ohio?
It is cold as balls. At least
Really?
it's not snowing yet, though.
Really?
Yeah, it's been like up and down. Like 3 days ago, it was almost 60. Today, it was like 35. I have no idea what's going on.
Oh my God. Yeah, it was like 52 and now it's 28.
I almost felt like I was watching. We'll get to this later, but Knock at the Cabin when they start going through like the plagues. I looked out my window. I'm like, holy shit, it's 40. Did someone not make a decision? But yeah, no, we're good, man.
Was that this year, Knock at the Cabin? Do you remember, Shah, B Show? Was that the spring of that? Was this year, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was this year.
Yeah.
Wow. That's wow. Well, people, if you're joining us for the first time, you picked a hell of a night. But before we get to the very special agenda on the show, we want to let you know that you really want to be going to patreon.com for the low holiday door busting price of just $5 a month. You get hundreds, if not probably of thousands of hours at this point, of bonus shows, exclusive content for Patreon. We're talking about theme shows, hangouts, solo shows, holiday theme shows. Shah, it's like an amusement park for your ears.
Yeah, and it's the only amusement park I would take part in because I'm fucking terrified of heights, dude. I've never been to one, and I'll probably die not going to one. Yeah, dude, I've never been on a ride.
You've never been on any ride at all?
Like the little kid ones. The craziest one I've been on is probably that ship that just tilts forward and backward.
Oh, okay. Like the half moon.
Yeah, the swinging ship.
What about like a merry-go-round? Is that too extreme?
No, I mean, I would never go on one now, but as a kid I did. But yeah, the ship kind of like terrified me, and that was the end for me. I never went to the extremes. I'm not an extreme guy when it comes to like putting my life at risk and going up heights, and I'm not that dude. But I live on the edge in other forms. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was gonna say you were like a deathmatch guy every week, like coming home with sulfur in your sneakers from the blood collecting.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I just
meant nothing to you, but God forbid a roller coaster.
Well, we also have the internet now where if you go on YouTube, dude, there's like, I don't know, probably 150 different roller coaster accidents you can find.
I'm not a huge
so I don't want to put my life at risk, and I don't want to put my life in the hands of some random dude that may have not inspected it correctly that morning because he woke up late. Like that doesn't sit well with me. My life is literally in the hands of some dude I don't know.
Well, it's still a thrill, but more safer thrill, you're saying, is spending the $5 on the Patreon at patreon.com/Spitball Media, correct?
Yeah, do that, and it's much cheaper.
Much cheaper. And of course, B Show, you like rides, but you would much rather spend that $5 on something more feasible.
Absolutely. We went to Cedar Point. I was showing their Top Thrill Dragster too. It's a 400-something vertical drop, like straight down. And it cost a shitload of money. We spent like $50 and we all shared like an appetizer. I love that place, but
one mozzarella stick each, kids.
Exactly. Well, yeah, I have to have two,
Well, yeah, you're burly.
but no, you're right, man. It seems like it's hard to get a value out there anymore.
Yeah.
$5 a month, hours of content, great stuff, bonus shows, holiday shows, get-togethers, doing a lot more cool stuff in 2024 too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, shit, we've been around since 2022. 21, 22?
21.
No, 2020.
The fall
20.
of
Oh,
20,
shit.
B-Show.
Yeah.
Wow. B-Show,
Next year's 4 years.
B-Show, have you lost a ton of weight? You look very thin.
I've lost a little bit of weight, yeah. But I never talk about it because every time I do, I gain it back. So,
well, I'm not trying to jinx it, but you look like a svelte college coach. I like it.
Well, thank you. I think
I took a gigantic shit this morning.
Dude, my wife just made reindeer poop. Do you guys know what that is? It's basically, This is gonna put me in a grave. We have white chocolate reindeer poop, and then the dark chocolate reindeer poop. But yeah, so I've just blown up like a balloon. I got to get on that treadmill next week. But people, go to patreon.com. You want to go to patreon.com/ Spitball Media, $5 a month. And of course, thank you to the many people who've been keeping the lights on in this joint. And some of them are in the chat right now, like Joe Punches and Cleric of Chaos, and Jeff Lippity Lip. Lippity Lipman is in the chat. I haven't talked to him in a bit. Chris Matthews, of course. What's up to Mr. Matthews? I just want to make sure I'm getting to everybody. Am I missing anybody, B Show? I'm having trouble scrolling.
Oh, the Cleric of Chaos.
Well, the Cleric of Chaos. Of course, Mikey's in there. What's up, Mikey? Of course, my good friend Marquise is there. Yeah, so yeah, people, you're going to want to be checking out the Patreon. B Show's going to drop a special show. And then at the end of the month, we're going to do a special Patreon show. The three of us are going to be talking about the year, the overall year in review, the holidays, all that good fun stuff. But thank you for checking us out. Thank you for joining us. Now, unlike usual shows where we have a variety of weekly entertainment topics, we're going to save those for the Patreon because tonight is the night. This is a year. I'm like Mussolini. Tonight is the night. A year of films. Now, it's a special year, and we'll get to that, but we're going to give our top 5 horror films, counting down from 5 to 1. We're talking about our 5 overall for the year. We'll talk about our 5 favorite films. We'll talk about some things that stood out. We'll talk about some stinkers, some stuff that maybe should have made the list, and some stuff, Shah, that definitely should not make the list. Shah, did you find that you had more stinkers than hits?
No, what makes me sad is a lot of the movies that I feel like will change my top 5, I haven't seen yet. So, for example, Killers of the Flower Moon, Poor Things, which is coming out this weekend, I believe.
Yeah.
And, also Napoleon. So, like, those are 3 that I feel like would make my top 5. So, like, I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about my top 5 so far, because it's all movies that I have seen, but I feel like I missed out on the best ones of the year.
Well, you don't know that, right? So it's like you
I
can
have
go
a
up,
feeling, though.
yeah, like the Golden Globes was announced this week, and a lot of my personal predictions, some that I made on the show, have come true. B Show, did you find that you had a lot of misses? What, a lot of hits? What are we looking at here?
I had a lot of surprises where I thought, like, I had pretty much a top 3 or 4, and it's the same. But then I was trying to watch other movies that I missed this week and thought that maybe some would be knocked out of competition. But I was really disappointed with some of them that I watched. And some of these movies, we'll talk about it, but some of these movies are movies that people that we know that have great taste in horror just loved and raved about. And there was one in particular that I completely fell apart for me, and we'll get to that.
I've noticed that too. Some of our, like, Shah, have you noticed some of the people that you follow, they put their best stuff out, and you're like, nah.
Yeah, and I think that's the beautiful thing about film. It's so subjective. So at the end of the year, I do like going to different channels and checking out everybody's top 10s, because everybody is different, and sometimes they mention like a foreign movie that I never got the chance to see, and I'm like, holy shit, I follow this guy, I trust him. If it's in his top 10 and I haven't heard of it, I'm probably going to go out of my way to check it out.
Yeah. So really, this is, we should also let everybody know, at no point did we collude in any way. We never do that. We never share. We might have similar films, but we certainly aren't aware of each other's lists, B-Show. That's for damn sure, right?
No, obviously we talk about stuff as it comes out, and if we watch it, I think we were all able to watch certain films at the same time or in the same weekend, so obviously we reviewed them. But no, absolutely not. And I have a feeling that we'll probably have similar tastes, but there'll be a couple surprises in there for each one of us. So strap in.
And that's and like Shah said, that's kind of the beauty of it. Now, I do want to point out, we will also maybe talk a little bit, if we have time, if time allows. We would like to get to some of yours. So if you're in the chat right now, put pen to paper, get your lists up. And we'll certainly do our best to read them as we go throughout. But let's cut them up. Let's get right to it. Let's not fuck around. And thank you guys for checking us out. And again, please consider, if you haven't already, going to patreon.com/Spitball Media for just $5 a month. Okay, here we go. I'm going to throw it to the Prince of Philadelphia himself. Shah, for the horror category, they want to hear your top 5. They want your number 5 film in the horror category for 2023.
So I did end up changing my list. I didn't think I would have, because Evil Dead Rise was originally my number 5, and now it's not even on the list anymore. So,
wow.
Yeah, Evil Dead and Exorcist, they didn't make my list, which I was surprised, because I figured those 2 probably would have made it, but unfortunately, they didn't make the cut. My number 5, No One Will Save You, the alien invasion movie. Um,
Wow.
I hated the CGI. It was too much of it, but I love the idea. I love the fact that they didn't shy away from showing the aliens. Like, it took a lot of balls to just put them right on the forefront of this shit and just pop it right in your face for 45 minutes at least. You know, the movie is like an hour and a half. I'm assuming at least 45 minutes of that was aliens on the screen. So I was kind of surprised by that decision, because when I watched the trailer, I was like, damn, that's an awful lot of alien footage just for a trailer. Did they give everything away? And then I went into it and I'm like, he's making eye contact with me. Like, the eyeballs are as big as the screen. They're fucking, the face shot is a close up. Which again, I think it hurt the movie ultimately for me. But I love the premises, man. I thought it was a dope movie. I thought it was pretty well done. I just wish they showed less of the aliens to leave a little bit of a mystique, because, you know, and I love their feet. Look how creepy that shit is. They're not your typical, like those fucking.
Shah's into the alien feet. There we go.
Yeah, he likes it. If Shah likes alien feet, Shah.
Yeah,
now let me ask you a question. Two questions for you about this film. As you know, me and B-Show enjoyed this quite a bit too. My first question to you is this: had this had better CGI and less aliens, would this have been way more down on the list, up to possible a 1 or 2 slot?
Yeah, I think it would have probably made my top 3 if this had better CGI and less aliens. I think, because again, my main problem was and look, they're making fun of it with the memes with the big ass eyes, because I mean, it was just so in your face, and it was as silly as this pretty much.
That's pretty funny. Although the big aliens I thought were tremendous. I didn't think there was.
They were, yeah. Again, some scenes, some scenes the CGI was done well. Again, if you look at this, they're on the background. It's darker. I hated the scenes where it's close-up shots of their mugs, and it's just like, dude, I don't think we need that. You know what I mean? I don't need to have a staring contest with an alien staring at me for 45 seconds on the screen. It's too much.
Okay, and my second question, Shah, is the lead actress may be one of the best horror performances of the year, don't you think? I think so. Like, from a this girl was ridiculously good in this movie. I think she stood out. Like, I think a lesser actress would have hurt this film. What did you think of her as the overall? I mean, she's pretty much acting by herself 90% of this film.
Yeah, I thought she did a tremendous job. I don't know if I would say it's one of the best, but just the fact that there was very little dialogue to none. I don't remember if there was any at all, really. But that's pretty impressive to be able to capture an audience and get them emotionally invested in the film. Insert that fear in them without using any dialogue. I thought, that's pretty cool.
Wow.
But I wouldn't. Yeah. I mean, but I wouldn't. I don't know if I would put it as the top, But yeah, it was impressive.
Impressive pick, impressive film. Bisha, what's your thoughts on that?
I'll talk about that in a little bit, mostly. Okay. But no, I think you're right. I think it's very hard. And I talked to my brother about this because I was writing a story one time and envisioning it as a movie with one character with very little dialogue. And the first thing he said was, you better find a really good actor, because if it's one character, there's not much dialogue. They got to be really good to sell that. And I think she did a great job. I agree with you. So I'll talk more about that.
I like her quite a bit. Her name escapes me. Okay, Shah, that's a hot pick for number 5. B-Show, they want it. They want to know, what is your number 5 pick, best horror film 2023?
I wasn't sure about this one for a while. I liked it, but as far as my list goes, I wasn't sure it was going to make the cut. But then when I looked at like the 15 or 16 horror movies I watched, this one just stood out as something that was unique, and I really liked the premise. It was a movie on Shudder that came out, I think, early this year, called Brooklyn 45.
Oh, wow.
There's not a ton of action. It's set mostly in one room, which is interesting. But I just like the premise so much. And if you haven't heard about it, it's basically right after World War II ends, there's a group of people who are veterans. There's a major and a general. There's a Nazi spy hunter lady, like an interrogator, and her paper-pushing Pentagon husband. And they all get together with this guy here, the major, I think, right after his wife dies, and he has them hold a seance. And I'm not a huge fan of ghost movies because it's like, okay, what's a ghost going to do to you? But it was like part possession, part ghost. And they also, I'm not going to spoil anything story-wise. You got to check it out. But you're not sure what's true and what's really going on up until like the third act. And it has to do with like some of the paranoia around, German people moving into the neighborhood after World War III. Are they sympathizers? Are they not? I don't know. I just thought it was such an interesting, I don't want to say original premise, but the story just was so different than anything else I saw this year. And I really enjoyed it. I had to put it on the list.
Now, do we know who directed this? I remember we talked about this a little bit. Necromaniacs, I think, may have covered this. I know Larry Fessenden is in it. He's like one of the stars. This isn't his film, is it? Because he's direct. Oh, it is. It's a
Ted
What?
Guggenhan?
Guggenheim.
Guggenhan?
Okay. What else has that person done? We Are Still Here. I've heard of that.
Satanic
No.
Panic,
Oh,
Sweatshop.
I like Satanic Panic. Shah, have you seen that? That's like a dark comedy. It's really good.
No, I haven't seen it. It looked kind of cheesy. I looked up the trailer. It's from it's from a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, it's fun. It's
Yeah.
a fun movie. We Are Still Here. I think I've seen that. That sounds very familiar.
It's from
Where is it?
2015.
We Are Still Here.
It's
Barbara
on Tubi.
Crampton. Wow, Larry Feston. Yeah, I feel like I've definitely seen this. And Bisho, is this a straight up ghost movie?
Yeah, basically they get together for a seance because the guy's trying to reach his wife, and then some freaky shit starts happening. They can't get out of the room. It's like they're locked in another place in time trying to figure out what happened. Like I said, I don't want to give too much away, so I'm trying not to be too vague.
Right.
But I just thought it was original. I like movies that are set like in the 40s and 50s just because it's different than a lot of stuff we see now. I don't know. It was so different and kept me engaged, and I wasn't sure what was really going on up until like the third act at times. So I don't know. I had to throw it on there.
Yeah, Shah, you familiar with this? I think we may have mentioned it over in the spring when it came out.
I've seen the trailer. I haven't seen the
too.
movie though.
Yeah. Anybody else recognizable in this B show that we might recognize other than Larry Fessenden?
The lady, the spy hunter. I don't know her name. I'm trying to find a picture. Her.
She does look familiar. This woman.
She's been in a bunch of stuff.
Okay. And this is like a retro sort of horror movie. What is her?
Anne Ramsey.
Oh, she's in a ton of shit. This woman. Oh, the Taking of Deborah Logan. That's a good movie. You like that too, right, Shah?
Yeah, that's actually very underrated. There's that one scene specifically with her jaw.
The end in the cave.
Fucking love it, dude.
Now, here's a fun fact about this woman. I believe she was the female co-star in Mad About You in the 90s. That woman.
Oh my God, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, she's the female co-star next to Helen Hunt. Just a little bit of trivia there for you. But yeah, that's a hot pick. Two great. Well, she's 63. Two great hot picks right there at number 5. Now I'm going to give my number 5. Now this is an agonizing choice for me. This number 5, because this kind of bumped out several other films. The reason why I picked this is because I did not have any sort of expectations in this movie. I didn't know if it was going to be good or bad. I didn't hear anything about it prior, and I was so surprised with how much I enjoyed this. And by the way, just for reference, the girl from No One Will Save You is Caitlin Dever. Jeff Lippman, thank you, Lip. My number 5 is the same as Joe Punch's number 5. It's going to be VHS 85. I had no expectations to enjoy. I'm a fan of the series, but I kind of fell off of it. Didn't know if we really needed another one. I believe this came out around Halloween weekend, if I'm not mistaken. And the good stuff in this was so good. Shah, I know you enjoyed this quite a bit, correct?
Yeah, I think this was probably my third favorite out of the whole franchise, and I think they've had 6 of them now so far, right? Or 5?
I think this is
5?
the 5th or 6th. I don't even know. One of them I did not watch because you said it was terrible.
Yeah, either way, I love this. I think the way they tied into the stories was pretty dope, which is what the screen capture is right there. But I don't know, man. I love cults. I love cults. So that aspect of it, I fell in love with that story, man. That story itself, that really sold me on it.
Yeah, I love the cult story. That was probably my favorite. I love the opening scene. I love the wraparound story. B-Show, you enjoyed this too, didn't you? Because you ended up going back and watching even more of them.
I think I watched 1 and 2 after this. Yeah, this is going to be on my list too. Actually, really did I? No, it didn't. Probably should have made the list.
It was tough for me. It was tough for me. I mean, I'm not later. We'll talk about what this knocked out. I just felt like, honestly, and like I didn't expect to really like this. I had it on. It was Halloween. I was high. I was like, fuck it, I'll watch this Halloween weekend. It's Halloween weekend or whatever. And I was like, I got sucked into this motherfucker. But I'm with you, Shah. I think this is the third best. If the three of them are great, and assuming there's 5 or 6. But this also, Shah, for me, this got me excited to watch another round. So because you had said the next one is in space.
Yeah, I believe so. So there's 6 of them. We had VHS 1, 2, Viral, 94, 99, and then 85. So this was the sixth movie.
Yeah, and Joe Punches, this was his 5th pick. The director of Black Phone did the one about the kid who dreamt future killings. Wow, that's pretty badass. That was a good story, too. I didn't know where that was going. But if you haven't seen it, it's totally worth checking out. Don't you think, B-Show? It's definitely on a top 10, I think, for everybody in some capacity.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And if I hadn't been forgetting about it just in the moment, it might have made my top 5 and replaced Brooklyn 45 because it's fucking good. And the thing I liked about it was, and I think I talked about this, so I won't go on too long. There's a lot of movies that come out where they try to capture like an 80s vibe and it's all neon and turquoise and pink. And it's like, no, this was straight. Like if you could still see the picture I had up, it's wood paneling. It's an old Winnebago.
The clothes. Yeah, they did a good job.
Yeah. I mean, it was legit, man. So no, it was cool.
Yeah, they did a great job. And I like I said, I'm looking forward now to watching more. I was apprehensive. I was like, I hope this is better. The last one didn't really suck me in as much. It was okay. I liked the one previously, I think, better. Oh, Shah, what's the one with the rat? Is that the 4th one?
That was 94. Yeah, that was the 4th
one. That's a good one. Okay, I like 94.
Rotman, all hail Rotman.
Oh, with the newscast, that's fucking so good. God, I could watch that 100.
I like this one because this legitimately scared the shit out of me. Like, it's very similar to Strangers. This is something that could happen. You know, and not to spoil it, but I mean, it's just like mini little stories. But there's a scene where, you know, it's the 80s. They're having a picnic and they're out on a boat. And shots start coming in, man. It's a you know, and they don't know where the shots are coming from. Like I put myself in that position. I'm like, holy shit! Like this is actually terrifying because now they're shooting out the boat. You know, the motor is shot out. They can't fucking move. They're stuck in the middle of the lake. It's pretty rough, man.
There's like no music or anything like that. It's just gunshots.
Yeah, very real. It's very real.
I remember that. I would even go back and watch it again. That's how much I enjoyed it. But Shah, the kids want to know. This is huge. Your number 4 pick for best of 2023 horror film.
So you probably expect this to be higher on my list, but it's the Argentinian horror that we watched a few weeks ago, Where Evil Lurks.
Okay.
I got to put this at number 4. I originally, when I watched it, I was like, shit, this is probably going to be at least top 3. But now that I've had some time to digest it and everything, I would put it at number 4. One, I really like the disturbing graphics. There's some scenes that are really fucking gross. You know, there's no other way to put it other than just gross. It's a little mysterious because there's not much of a payoff. Like you don't really know what happens. You have to put, you know, it's kind of all over the place. There's a scene obviously with the dog and the kid that we mentioned. Very different take on, you know, possession, you know, and just evil in general. And I like how they treated evil like a plague. Like it was spreading by the minute. Different people were getting hit left and right. Nobody knows how to fix it. And there's no end to it really. You know, it's a different take, man. I appreciate originality. And this was something very different because I expected it to have something to do with churches and the devil and demons and some girl being tied to a bed and vomiting. Like every spirit movie pretty much has that, right? It's an Exorcist ripoff. This was nothing like the Exorcist. This was a complete different look. And that scene right there where the kid is just the zombie kid is just sitting there for fucking like 5 minutes staring at you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
That was so uncomfortable just watching that kid, you know, sit in front of a cereal bowl and you just see the sudden movement in the background. That was very unsettling.
Yeah, that was pretty badass. And I know
what scene was that? Because I don't even remember that part.
How, dude? It was like 5 minutes long of the kid just staring.
Was this?
Click on it.
Was it at the school or something?
Yeah, this scene right here.
This is at the school?
No, the kid was like dead for days, and the cops are coming in, and they're just like trying to observe the kid, and he's sitting there not eating obviously the cereal bowl, but in the background you see like a sudden movement of his eye, and it's very subtle, and
Yeah,
it's
I'm
fucking
trying to see.
creepy.
I saw the movie twice, and I got to be honest. I recognize the kid, but I don't recognize the scene.
I
Yeah.
don't know how, because it was so fucking long.
Interesting.
Like
Okay.
it was so long that it got awkward. Because for like 2 minutes, the kid's not doing anything.
Yeah, I
You're
don't
just
know.
looking at him.
Yeah, that's a dead looking kid, B show, isn't it?
That's a dead ass kid.
Yeah.
That kid's dead as
It's
fuck.
disturbing. I'm surprised I don't remember it
I
because
know because it looks so good too. My
yeah.
God, that kid's deader than disco. B show, I love that we have the safe search on for the Google. So it's learn. Like if there was ever a show that didn't need a safe search, it's this
Well.
show. But Shah, hot pick. I'm sure it's going to dominate the lists all across the board here. And of course, B show. Let's hear it. What is your number 4?
I struggled putting this on the list because out of all the other stuff that I put on there, it's the most sanitized, I guess. But I liked a lot of little things they did in the movie, from the sound design to some of the creative choices. I put "Talk to Me" on my as my number 4.
Number 4. Okay.
I struggle with it, and I think that's where VHS 85 came off. But I don't know, just the way they threaded the themes of like the hands thing throughout the film in other places other than just the statue. The ending I thought was pretty interesting, the way they wove it in with the rest of the story. We talked a couple weeks ago about the son banging his head on the table and some
Oh
little things
God,
like that. I mean,
God.
so many little things that I thought were good that I ended up enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would because it was a bigger. Who put that out? I don't remember.
It's A24, but it's a first-time director. They're 2 young guys. Shah, I believe they used to be backyard wrestlers, if I'm not mistaken, and they do
Yeah, they
YouTube
used
videos.
to be YouTubers. It still are actually.
Wow.
And they used to do, backyard deathmatch wrestling. They used to do some jackass stunts. There's some Australian kids, and they basically would just do stunts, like just do stupid shit on YouTube.
Mhm.
And they ended up making this movie. I don't know how it happened, really, but it's a thing. They were doing short horror movies, but they were pretty bad because it was obviously indie cheap movies. But I guess A24 saw the potential in them.
Yeah.
They capitalize, dude. They fucking take opportunities, man. They make nobody's into somebody's. Look
That's
at
them right
Ariana.
there, the young kids right there.
Yeah.
Wow, they're young, huh? God. I think they're in
Yeah,
their 20s or maybe late 20s.
yeah, I believe so. Yeah,
Oh, they're brothers.
late 20s.
They're brothers?
It looked like it.
Yeah, well, they're
Yeah,
the same last name. They could be
yeah,
cousins. I don't know. I know very little about them, but of course, I'm a fan of the movie. And of Shah, you're a fan of the movie as well.
yeah. And spoiler alert, it's gonna make an appearance on my list.
Well, well, listen, I'm gonna drop it right now because actually, B show, this got moved to my number 4. I had to realign my list, so this is also my number 4 pick. I knew when I saw the movie earlier in the year, just like Shah will probably say in a moment, that this was going to be a top film for me. Now, I've heard very few people not enjoy it. I don't want to blow up my brother here, but he did not like it that much. He thought it was okay at best. He thought it was very talky. He thought that everyone in the movie was very unlikable. Like there was no one in the movie. There's usually at least somebody that you want to like. And he didn't get the hoopla on it, quite frankly. I get some of that for sure. I found the movie to be just like I'm sure Shah's going to say too. I found it to be very, very, very good in a big way. I like the originality of it. I liked the performances in it. I liked the way it was shot. I also enjoyed the music. I do think there is something to be said for the unlikableness of people. And I think the reason for that is because anybody that you remotely liked probably was going to die because that's, whether it's, spoiler alert, the lead. The friends were a little, trashy. There is a little bit of like you don't really, they're kind of assholes. I mean, they're teenagers. So it's like, who likes teenagers, honestly, it's to me, it's just I was taken with how much I appreciated the film, the originality of it. I love the concept of the hands, and I also love the ending. If you leave me with a good ending, I walk out, on a high note. B show did you appreciate the ending?
Yeah. When we talk about our favorite and least, our least favorite later, I'll mention one that really lost me in the third act.
Mm.
it's really hard to follow a movie and be really into it and then feel let down at the end. It
Hmm.
almost like you almost dislike the movie more because it's like, man, this was set up so well, and now,
Yeah.
ugh. And this one, like I said, at the end, it really tied back into the whole concept of the movie, and not just for a, I guess, setting up a second movie type of thing, which they
Right.
could,
Mhm.
but it made such complete sense, and it was an interesting choice that they made. Kind of obvious, but it was really cool to
Yeah,
see it
yeah,
play
there was
out.
some
And
obviousness to it.
yeah,
But yeah, that's my number 4 pick as well. So Bisho and I have the same 4 picks. Slave Cheeks. So we're recording a day early this week for the best of. So shout out to Slave Cheeks. And Joe Punch's 4 is Malum. Malum. I have none of us have seen it. We've been dying to see it. We're all interested in seeing it. That's his number 4. Cleric of Chaos's number 4 is Infinity Pool. And Chris Matthews' number 4 is The Last Voyage of the Demeter. He finally saw it. And his number 5 was No One Will Save You, just like Shah's. Shah, number 3 with a bullet. Give it to them. They want it. They need it. They want to hear your third pick.
Well, I'm just gonna segue right into it from your guys' pick because it's my number 3. Talk to me. I particularly love this because A24 stepped away from the A24 vibes for this one. I think this was more of a basic horror movie. It was, it relied a lot on gore. Possession films aren't typically something that A24 is particularly associated with, other than maybe Hereditary. But other than that, they haven't done like any possession movies that I can recall. I fucking love this movie, man. It was better than I expected because when I watched the trailer, it kind of seemed like a Blumhouse movie, but it wasn't. And I think the ending was great. It left you, left a lot to be desired for more. And obviously, they're doing a sequel. I think they're doing a sequel, which I think is going to focus
Has
on.
it been greenlit, the sequel? I don't know if
Yeah,
that's
immediately. Yeah, it was such a
Okay.
success immediately.
Okay.
And I think the premise for the second one is focusing on where
The
the hand
origin.
came from. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's going to be amazing.
So
Is it called Talk to the Hand?
well, that'd be some dope shit.
That'd be
But
kinda fun.
I think the story to the hand will be really cool because it's from a like a what was it, like a fucking voodoo woman or some shit?
Yeah, it was someone a fortune teller, right, Bisho? Because
A
you saw it
fortune
more
teller,
recently
yeah.
than we did.
yeah,
I
I
wish
think
it
it
was
was
a
a,
person.
yeah.
Do we know who's getting this for streaming? Like what company is getting this? It's
I would
not
assume
available yet.
Max. No.
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think they're getting it. I
Oh
don't know
no,
that
they have a
they're
deal
not.
with Showtime. Remember, they have a deal with Showtime.
Yes, that was another big story we didn't get to.
But
with
is it
Paramount.
A24? Is it Max or Showtime?
Well, remember
No, A24
A24
is
signed that deal for future. We'll talk about
Oh,
that in the
that's right.
Patreon. It's a big story. We'll probably do a lot of time on that. But that's a hot pick for sure. And of course, Joe Punches, his number 3 is No One Will Save You. Cleric of Chaos thinks it's a good pick. So that is Shah's number 3. Talk to me. B-Show, the kids want to know your third pick for horror film of 2023.
This is one we've talked about earlier in the show. No One Can Save You.
Wow. Is it No One Will Save You? Is it?
Oh,
that
No One
is, or
Will Save You.
Ken?
Sorry.
Is it Ken or Will? It's Will, right?
I can find out.
No One
I
Will.
think
It's No One
Ken.
Will.
Oh, is it? I thought it was
Is it
Ken.
Will? 'Cause
No
I
One
got
Will
Chris
Save You.
Matthews. Yeah, because Chris has it, and so does Joe. So I'm assuming Joe Punches. Okay.
Yeah, No One Will Save You. No One Will Smith You.
Will Smith you.
No, I thought it was really good. Different than I expected, but really a throwback to Twilight Zone type of movies. I tried to check out was it Black Mirror a couple years ago, and after a couple episodes I couldn't really get into it. It was really cool to see how everything wrapped up, that in this weird sort of way she got everything she wanted. But it's terrible for everybody else. I mean, it's catastrophe.
Yeah.
Aliens were cool, especially the giant praying mantis one that you talked about
The one
earlier.
over the house is my favorite.
Oh my
the one that
God,
goes
yeah.
over the fucking house. What a horror fucking moment that was.
Mhm. And then even the effects, like when it had her suspended in the air and it was like kind of
looked good.
looking at her, checking her out, and the red lights in the room and everything. Just, I'm not going to say too much about it because we've already talked about it quite a bit. But yeah, No One Will Save You was a sleeper hit. And again, it seemed like an event movie too, because and we might have talked about this before. There were so many people when I was watching it at the same time. And it reminded me of back in the day when we would watch like AMC Fear Fest or Monster Fest. And I get a text from a buddy like, hey, you watching Silver Bullet or whatever it
This
is?
was
And
the
I'm
first
watching
time
it
all
too.
3 of us watched the movie in the same night, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, when Evil Lurks was the second time. Yeah,
It was the second
this year.
time. Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild how that works out.
I actually
Bisho,
like doing that. It makes it
Yeah,
exciting.
we should do that more often. We should probably do that more often. But again, it's a great pick. It would definitely have been in my top 10 easily, for sure. And I also think, quite frankly, it might have been one of the better horror trailers of the year. Honestly, I think that was one of the, and Shah, I think you'll agree with me too. I think that was one of the most effective horror trailers that you saw all year, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think that's what sold us. I mean, obviously,
Yeah, the
that's why we
trailer
all
for sure.
watched it.
Yeah, it looked great, and it just didn't really give anything in the trailer, but it gave it all in the film, which is weird. But a hot pick there at number 3. My number 3 is similar to Shah's in the sense that it was his number 4 pick there. Excuse me. I'm going with When Evil Lurks. Now clearly this is one of the best movies of the year, but there were 2 movies that I felt transcended this film as much as I appreciated it. When Evil Lurks will probably always be on a top list for me for sure in terms of originality, the uncomfortableness of it. I like the performances. I just loved the stuff it's not, they traded out jump scares, I think, for like really scary shit, like evil parents, evil children, evil pets, not knowing who to trust. It's got cannibalism. It's got sacrilegious shit in it. It's got like the breakdown of the family and like, I don't know. I just feel like it's such a deep film. For me, I'm very, very interested in seeing more from that director. I know that that's not the first film that director. Other films that the directors made the role in Argentina. I'm curious to see, Shah, in particular. Do you think that film is going to push this director into mainstream American film? Because that's usually what happens. These guys cross over.
I would almost bet on it that A24 is probably going to do a movie with this guy. They like doing foreign movies. They do a lot of Asian movies. So
Neon
yeah,
too.
Neon, yeah, they definitely could. So yeah, I mean, I would like to see more out of this guy.
Yeah.
You know?
What about you, B Show? Obviously, we've talked about this film quite a bit. Like something to look forward to, a director who will probably be on the radar just in terms of their originality, because I believe he wrote it as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and I turned the safe search off for you guys, by the way, so I'm
thank
pulling
you.
it up again.
Yeah, we can.
I agree. It's another. I don't want to keep harping on the
mark of
ones
the
that I
beast.
hated, but the ones that I didn't like, there was so much. And I know horror, you're going to get a lot of tropey stuff, but there were so many tropes in some of these other movies that I watched that I just couldn't. I couldn't let it beat out movies like Brooklyn 45 or When Evil Lurks. So I'm with you. Just the originality of it, the willingness to go there, to not. Let's see, to not do the same things in possession movies that we've seen before, but also I liked how they tied it in with like the mysticism of the like the Argentinian fables.
Yeah, like folklore, like their version of folklore, maybe.
Yeah, like even though Grandma didn't really believe it, she was like, "Oh, of course, everyone knows the 10 rules." Blah
I
blah
love
blah. It reminds me of like I remember one time my wife was sick. Her mom told her to crack an egg in a glass when she went to bed and put it under the bed because it'll draw out the sickness. And it reminded me of some of that older like witch doctor-y shit that.
Oh yeah, I had like old Italians that had a lot of that shit. Like they had like those things. But clearly this is going to be on a lot of people's list. I want to point out Chris Matthews. His number 3 was Malum. Wow, we really need to see this Malum movie. Yeah. And Joe Punch's number 3 was No One Will Save You. So a lot of repetitive here, which is to be expected. These are some of the best we're talking about here.
Yeah, Claire had Dark Harvest. Did you guys see Dark Harvest?
I wanted to. Uncle Creepy was talking a lot about Dark Harvest. I wanted to watch that. I know what it's about. That's like the folklore thing, and it looks like it's in the 50s or something like that. It's like in a small town, and this is how the town gets by every year, and they have to do a sacrifice or some shit. I'll definitely check that out. I heard Dark Harvest was good. I definitely want to see that. Oh, Big Dirk is in there. Shout out to him. But Shah, let's get to your number 2 pick for a horror film of 2023.
I don't know if you would consider this a horror movie, but it's titled as it's categorized as horror. And I think it's a horrific movie, so I guess that's self-explanatory. But Beau is Afraid, directed by Ari Aster.
Beau is Afraid. Yes, it is. I told you it was categorized as a horror film.
Yeah, I fucking sat through this for 3 hours, and I did it again this year. I did it again, and I think that's a good sign. And I recommend everybody to watch this because we're talking about originality, and I don't want to get repetitive, but I mean, there is nothing like this movie. There's absolutely nothing
I
like
can't
the
wait to see
fucking
it.
movie.
I'm more excited to see it now that it's got no heat on it or anything like that.
And if you've ever dealt with like anxiety and things of that nature, you're gonna find this movie horrifying because everything that
Wow.
can go wrong will go wrong,
Oh wow.
and it becomes exhausting. Like it's a mentally exhausting movie, and that's why it's horrifying. And it's got some comedic elements in there. It's got some characters that are pretty funny. But it's just complete chaos, from the fucking first second of the movie till the end. It's absolute
So Amy
complete
Ryan got
chaos.
Oscar.
And he goes on a journey. It starts out from like city chaos to, weird rich people stuff. And then it goes into like almost like, I don't know, dreamlike illusions and ecstasy. It's a weird fucking movie, man. It's
Now,
it's
Shah,
got
let
a
me ask you
weird,
a question. Why were you good with this for 3 hours, but you're not good with a standard movie going like an hour 45?
because I feel like, and I've mentioned this before when it comes to 3 hour movies, there's certain directors that I'm obviously biased towards, and I'll give them that time of the day. I mean, Ari Aster, he doesn't put that many movies out. He puts out a project every like 6 years or some shit.
Yeah, if
So
it's 4 or 5 years. Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, when he does a movie, I'll take as much as I can. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And but this movie also has an interesting family dynamic, which seems to be, a pattern in his movies, or really A24 in general. Because I mean, Talk to Me had the family dynamic
Oh
also.
yeah, talk to me.
A
For
lot of
sure.
them do.
Hereditary, Midsommar.
Yeah, a lot of them do.
Yeah, now that we think about it.
I mean,
Bisho,
look at
you
The
had-
Witch. The
The
Witch.
Witch. Jesus,
you
that's I just rewatched some of that the other day. God, she was so young in that movie. Bisho, you're going to be checking this out, I'm sure, when this hits streaming as well, correct?
Yeah, I looked it up the other day and I couldn't find it easily. It was among some of the like the Oppenheimer movies that are like still $15 to rent. So I checked some other ones out. I do really want to see this. I didn't think it was a horror movie necessarily, so I didn't check it out and prioritize it. But
Mhm.
I mean, Joaquin Phoenix is awesome. This picture that I had up a second ago looks like looks
He's
like a
nominated.
weirdo.
He was nominated for a Golden Globe in the comedy or musical category. Shot.
Oh
They
my
put this
God.
in the comedy musical category.
This looks like Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Like weirdo
It
Wizard
looks
of
like
Oz.
Song of the South. Let's be honest.
That's true.
Jeff Littman saying it's $5.99 to watch Dark Harvest.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Shout out to, of course, we got Dirk in there, Mikey's in there, and of course Joe Punches. His number 2 was Talk to Me. B-Show, your number 2 for horror film of 2023.
My number 2, I have a feeling is either going to be Shah's number 1 or number 2. Infinity Pool. Finally got a chance to check that out the other day. Man, what a ride! I mean, like I don't even have words to describe it. It's raunchy. I mean, like 5 minutes in, the dude's on the beach, and you can tell, like they set up that he's such a weak-minded fucking idiot that the second someone shows him attention, he wants to leave his girl, and then she starts jerking him off in the bushes like he's trying to take a piss. I was like, what the fuck is this?
It's crazy. It's fucking.
And then it gets into the main story, and then from the jump, the first thing I asked, and they kind of played with it a little bit later, was, is he him? And they play with that throughout the rest of the movie.
Yeah,
and
it's a theme.
Yes. And then like the drug hallucination dreams, like orgies and it definitely was. Wasn't that Cronenberg's son that directed that?
Yeah, Brandon Cronenberg, son of legendary filmmaker who doesn't really make films, I think, that much anymore, to be honest with David Cronenberg. I don't know how old he is. He's probably in his 70s. But now, B-Show, I'm just going to drop it right here. That is also my number 2 pick.
Oh, cool.
Infinity Pool. I am a super fan. I went and saw it opening weekend in the winter of this year. And it was a very odd theatrical experience, which is why I think I put it so high as a theatrical experience, but also the originality of the fucking concept, the performances, the horror show. I mean, it's a horror show of a fucking plot, that's for sure. The brutality, the murder, Mia Goth is just, I don't know how you don't leave your wife for Mia Goth. I don't even know if that's plausible to say you wouldn't leave the person you're with for Mia Goth. And Shah, I know you're a big fan as well.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and spoil it. That's my number 1. I think it was the best horror movie all around for the year, and I've watched it twice already. Got some of the best masks I've ever seen in a horror movie.
The masks. Jesus.
Fucking amazing. And
Bishop, can
I
we pull up the
recently,
masks? The masks really need to be like for those people, because I'm sure a lot of people, guys, have not Infinity Pool film movie mask. I guess.
Yep.
Oh my God, these masks. Yeah, and I'll tell you, this was probably the movie people have seen the least.
probably, yeah, I would say so.
And it's a shame, you know.
Any woman that looks that good with no eyebrows, I mean, come on.
Yeah, she is. Well, first of all, let's say it right. Skarsgård is fantastic in this movie. Shot is. I mean, he's fucking great in this goddamn movie.
Yeah, I thought everybody did well, man. And I recently watched the uncut version, which is basically like a porno for like a solid 2 minutes of it. There's straight vagina holes in there. There's everything, man.
Yeah. Oh, look at this is some crazy. Kevco TV's joining us. What's up, Kevco? He said Infinity Pool is so great. Still need to see the uncut. As do I. I need to see the uncut. This movie puts you through a lot of paces. I think B-Show. I think it puts you through like. There's obviously the gore aspect of it and the violence, but also conceptually, like this soulless. I want to say almost bourgeoisie, like that the worst people alive are the rich. Like I feel like the undertone of this movie is that the rich people are the worst people in the world.
Yeah, and that's one thing I liked about it too is I don't like movies that when they have a theme, it's super heavy-handed and almost dogmatic. There's a lot of movies that try to touch on this stuff where it's like evil people bad and they're just outright just from the start assholes and there's a fucking soapbox moment. This was just what happens when rich people go to a country they can get away with anything in
Anything.
and they can do whatever they want and come back with a clone, and pay off their execution. So I think it was really well done. Almost like Talk to Me, where Talk to Me touched on social themes of social media crazes, potentially drug use and
The
addiction.
youth culture.
Yeah, but it wasn't like the Sackler family killed 50,000 people last year. Like, okay, come on. So much in the same way, I agree with you, where there's a lot of stuff going on in here.
A lot of stuff going on here.
I felt myself in that position too. Like, holy shit, what if you were pulled into something like this and you can't get yourself out? Because this guy, as I mentioned before, in the movie, he's got a beautiful girl.
Oh,
she's
stunning.
rich.
She's
rich. Bankrolling his dream job, even though he's going nowhere with it. But the second an attractive rich woman pays him attention, he's like, all right, I'm going there. Like, and doing this debaucherous shit. It was great.
Yeah. Shah, do we know what's next on the docket for Brandon Cronenberg? Has he announced a project? I don't think he has, right?
I don't think so, but I don't know, man. He's giving me a lot of hope. I think I'm more hopeful than ever when it comes to directors. And also he's really just carrying on tradition from his father, because he really incorporates like body horror and almost like mechanical horror, like Tetsuo type of shit, where it's technology mixed in with flesh. Like they're really big on that. You look at Videodrome, what was it? Existence.
Yeah, I love Existence. I need to see his antiviral movie. I've heard nothing.
It's good. It's fucking batshit crazy. It's not as good as Possessor in this one, but it's up there, dude. It's very uncomfortable. Same kind of fucking themes,
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil it, but
I predict big things for him in the future, and of course, this is a top film. It's in our top there. B-Show, it's time for your number one. You got to drop it like it's hot, as the kids
My
say.
number one was on your guys' list, I believe, if I'm keeping score. When Evil Lurks.
Okay.
I considered Infinity Pool number one, but just something about When Evil Lurks, it just got under my skin. Like the choking on the grandma's hair, the gnarly, bloated, rotted half corpse guy who's still kind of alive, and when they're trying to get him out of the room, like his flesh is almost it's like seeping on them. Just
Joe Punch is number one as well, B-Show.
There was gross out moments. There was mysticism. There was a lot of stuff going on, but it was in a real world setting that you could buy into.
Yeah.
So to me, it just got under my skin and was very well done. And the other thing too is I know we talked about this a couple weeks ago, but someone had said they didn't like Talk to Me to an extent because there wasn't any attractive people in it.
Oh, my brother Mike said that as a joke. He said there's no hot people in it. I thought that was the greatest thing I've heard in my life. Maybe the funniest thing he's ever said to me. I don't think he was joking. Like, I don't know. Look, I shouldn't say that. He was clearly just talking to me, like joking. But when he said that, I couldn't stop laughing. I just reading that, just thinking of him typing, "Go, there's no hot people in this movie." Like, and this is 45 minutes, I think, into the movie. It was just so brilliant. It was
Mhm.
just the comedic timing was off the chain.
But I thought that helped when evil lurks because even if like the wife was attractive, it's like it reminds me of the Pedro
Yeah,
Pascal
she
thing.
was. Yeah,
Pedro
yeah, she was.
Pascal is just a rugged looking dude who looks like he's lived some life, and you can buy into him as an everyman type of character, the same way the lead movie in When Evil Lurks did to me. He just seemed like
Yeah,
a gruff dude, a real guy in a real setting, and this could be happening somewhere in Argentina. So
yeah. I mean, look, it's all in our top. We knew this was going to be in our top three, right? I mean, there was just no for the top five for sure. And there's very few movies that I think are better than it. But for me, I got moved down the list a little bit after I saw it the second time. And I'm just going to say this now because I am the only one who has this on their list. This is probably not going to surprise too many people who have been following me on social media, but I had to rearrange my list because I saw what I think is hands down the best horror film of the year, if not one of the best films of the year, which is being heralded as such across the board by anyone who's seen it. I'm talking about Godzilla Minus One is absolutely my number one horror film of 2023. It is a practically flawless monster movie in every sense of the word. It has everything in it that would satisfy even the biggest cynic of horror films. It has good acting. It has good character development. It has a good score. It has good special effects. It has a good plot. It has a very clear cut, good and evil circumstance to it. It also takes some shots at the government. It takes a little bit of shots at us for World War One. Some fantastic. I mean, look at that motherfucker coming out of the fucking ocean, man. Look at that fucking shit. Come on, dude. I mean, the hype on this is totally real. It's nominated for a Golden Globe for Best Foreign fucking Film. It's nominated for 16 awards so far across the board. I implore you, this is the best, if not, it's the best horror film, hands down. But I promise you, this is a theatrical experience. This is something that you leave the theater and you're like this, or calling somebody going, "Oh my fucking God, look at that fucking shot." Shah, I'm telling you, you need to experience this in a theater.
Yeah, I mean that was a hell of a cosign. Jesus, I wasn't originally like sold on this movie. I'm not a big Godzilla fan, but I don't know, man. That shot of him coming out of the water, though. There's something
Oh,
about sea creatures that just freak me the fuck. We need more of that, man. Give me more sea creature movies. We're missing out on. The last one that I can remember was what? Deep
well, no.
Water.
Yeah.
Was that
I
what it
mean,
was called? Deep
technically, The
Water.
Lighthouse is a sea creature movie.
Kind of.
Kind of. Kind of.
But well, the Deep Water movie was after that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you saw that, right?
What, Dark Water? Oh, the Outwaters, whatever. What the fuck is?
Outwater. No.
No. Look at that. That
No.
looks so
Can you
good.
type in Deep Water horror movie? See if that's a
Deep
movie.
Waters or Water?
Deep
I
Waters.
thought Deep Water was where the two people are stranded and they might get eaten by sharks or something.
Yeah.
Maybe
Maybe
it's
not.
Dark Water. I don't
So
know.
that's open
Oh.
water or something like that. I don't
No,
remember.
Open Water is a shark movie.
Yeah,
Anna de
that's with
Armas
real
is in
fucking
this
sharks.
movie.
Yeah. Oh, there's some.
it-
Yeah, there's a shark. No, the one where they're at the bottom of the ocean or some shit. I don't know.
Underwater. That's what it was.
Underwater. I heard that's
Underwater.
real good.
It was so fucking good, dude.
Is that like
Those
the alien
creatures-
underwater movie?
Bisho always forgets to put in movie. He just
Yeah,
types in
I
like,
heard this is great. By the way, I heard this is fucking.
dude, it's
I heard
so
she's
fucking
great in it,
good.
too. Look at that shit.
So,
God
well, that's a
damn, that
toy.
looks good.
That's a toy.
Yeah. And Cleric of Chaos says it too. The human story in the movie, absolutely. I mean, this is like Saving Private Ryan. I mean, Chris Matthews last week. If you take out the Godzilla factor and make it a story about these characters in post-World War II Japan, you still have an amazing movie. 100%. B-Show, I know you're trying to get your ass over to a theater.
Yeah, and I felt bad. My wife did cock block me a little bit on Sunday from going to see it, circumstances. And tonight she was like, "Hey, the kids are going to mom's on Friday, so if you want to go see that movie, I know you really wanted to go ahead." I'm like, "Fucking A."
Oh God. Well,
I
maybe you
will
can
be.
check it out tomorrow. I highly recommend you guys seeing it in a theater. It is the coolest movie. It's the coolest movie of the year. It's just such a huge surprise. It's over 50 something million now in the States. I think maybe global. And it's barreling its way through the year. What a wild card this was for me. But again, people who have seen it agree. But I think it's a theatrical experience. I feel like if you went and saw it in a theater with an audience, you would walk out going, "Fuck, that was ridiculous." But absolutely my personal favorite. Before we move on, I do want to talk about some stuff that was close to the list. A couple of mentions that you guys have that maybe got bumped off. Shah, I'm going to say this right now. You mentioned Evil Dead Rise. That was my number 5 for a while. But that came up
Same.
because I enjoyed that. That got bumped off for you as well, correct?
Yeah, that was my number 5 originally, and then I decided to put in Beau Was Afraid. It's a horror movie.
Yeah.
So
Misha, was Evil Dead ever on your list as well? Me and Shah had it.
It was close. I think it was like number 7. I never really considered replacing anything with it, but I felt bad because I love Evil Dead movies. And there were some really cool kills, like the wood chipper in the garage scene.
Oh,
That was fantastic.
There's some
They did some really
shit.
cool stuff, but I just felt like, to me personally, I feel maybe I shied away from it because it's a franchise, and I sometimes rely too heavy on franchise movies. And I don't think one of these movies I put on here was a franchise at this point. So,
Well, most of our films have been foreign. A lot of them are foreign. They're Australian, they're Argentinian, they're Japanese. I think David Cronenberg's movie Shot was not financed in the States. I believe that was financed overseas. That was financed in another country. Did you guys notice that if you looked at the credits, it was filmed by like Film New Zealand or something? Be sure
no,
you
I
just
didn't
saw
know
it.
that.
Yeah. I'll say this: No One Will Save You would have been in my top 10 for sure, like 1 bazillion%. That would have definitely have been there. Another thing for me I struggled with was some of the bigger studio films. I'm someone who has seen the most recent Saw, and the most recent Nun. Didn't really care for the Nun. Thought Saw was okay. The highest grossing horror film of the year, Five Nights, was never going to make any of our lists. Will we say that, Shah?
No, not at all. I saw I saw Saw also.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Because it came out on 4K, so I just bought it.
What did you think?
I really liked it. I thought it was one of the better ones.
It's good.
As far as,
it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely put it in the top 5 at least.
Oh, really?
Saw movies. Yeah.
Oh, the Saw films. I'm sorry.
The Saw films. Yeah, not in my top 5.
Okay. And
Possibly
Bisha,
even
you've yet
top 3. Like,
Shah, they
I
just
like
greenlit the next Saw today. By the way, they greenlit another.
Did
one
they?
today.
Of course they
Yeah,
did.
just today. Of course. Well, like I said, it makes money. It's a continuing franchise. Bisha, you have yet to see Saw 10.
no, I looked for it, but I figured I only had so many days left to try to fit in as many movies as I could, and I decided to go with a couple other ones, which I might talk about in a minute as near misses.
Yeah. Well, let's get some of our near misses out there. So for me, No One Will Save You and Evil Dead Rise. I didn't dislike Saw. I Cobweb, that was very big for a lot of people. It's on a lot of people's top 5. I didn't like the ending. I didn't like the creature. That didn't work for me at all. It just didn't work for me. I don't know. I was building. They were building up to something they didn't deliver on. I did not see the Insidious movie, which made a chunk of money. Megan, which came out late in December, so it gets a mulligan there. I saw it in January. It's okay. A lot of stuff is just okay. And one movie I feel like, because Chris Matthews had it on his list that no one has seen, but anyone who saw it really appreciated it, was guys, Last Voyage of the Demeter. This is a really good movie that no one watched, which is a goddamn shame. It's probably one of the biggest bombs of the year. Shah, I know you said you had an interest in checking it out, right? When it comes to 4K, they're releasing it.
I bought it. I haven't seen it yet though.
Okay.
But I did buy it. But as far as my missed ones or honorable mentions, I would say Evil Dead Rise. Definitely fucking. What was that other movie that we saw? Evil Dead Rise. Exorcist, I would say I would put it up there still. Because Exorcist probably would have been my number 7th. It's definitely in my top. Yeah, I mean,
I thought you didn't like The Exorcist.
I thought you hated it.
I did. Yeah, I hated it. But I mean, what else came out that I would put it above that?
Well, did you think Saw was better?
I don't know, man. That's a toss up. Because I didn't hate, like, it had potential, man. If they just cut out one of the stories, I think it would have been a good movie. It just was too much going on. I hated Five Nights at Freddy's. I watched
Yeah.
Megan. I didn't really like that.
Yeah, Megan's not terrible. It doesn't do anything for me.
I thought Cocaine Bear was fun, but not worth in my top 5. Maybe top 10. Maybe it would be like number 10 or something.
Okay.
But Cocaine Bear was pretty fun, I would say.
Okay. And what you call it? Malum. We need to see that goddamn movie. Everybody's. Oh, the Boogeyman. I saw that. Meh.
I actually
Hellhouse
like
Origins. I thought would have been better without better acting. I saw that. Scream. You didn't see the new Scream?
I didn't. No, I haven't seen that one yet.
Okay. Yeah. It's okay.
I thought
I'll
it was
mention
all right.
Outwaters. Outwaters was pretty good.
I saw that this year. I thought it had some cool shit in it. That's for sure. Knock at the Cabin. Didn't hate it. I thought it was okay for what it was. I didn't see. I fell asleep to It's a Wonderful Knife, by the way. B-Show, you're near misses.
You guys mentioned a couple, but I've let's see, what was it? Hellhouse Origins. I watched that the other night.
Oh,
I would have. Yeah.
Okay.
I would have
What'd you
liked
think?
it a lot better if they weren't sandwiching the fake documentary in between.
Mm,
It seemed like it kept throwing the pace of the movie off. They didn't seem authentic. Like, it didn't seem like they were shooting a real documentary. You could definitely tell it was people acting like they were shooting a documentary. Like, they would cut away to like and now it's the unsolved mysteries portion, and we're going to talk about what happened when they went in that house. And it's like, ugh, gross.
What about the main girl? Isn't she just the worst? I thought she
Yes.
sucked.
Yes.
Oh, she killed that movie for me.
The brother was good and the girlfriend was good, but she was a just terrible, terrible lead. Just very, very wooden, not a very convincing performance.
Awful.
It just like every line of dialogue, I was like, ugh. So for those reasons, I'd have to say near miss, although the clowns are creepy as shit.
The clowns were good.
And like the screeching demons in the woods, that was kind of a cool touch.
Yeah, it was okay. I liked the ending a lot. Shah, you didn't see it yet, though, right?
No, I've seen the first 2, which I really like, but I haven't seen this one yet.
Okay, yeah. Knock at the Cabin was this year. I that could have made my list. That could have made it. I think
I put it in top 10. I would.
Yeah, I would put it in top 10. B-Show, did you like it?
Yeah, I watched it today. I thought Batista was awesome in that role. There were so many subtle little things that he did just to sell that role of I'm just this teacher who has a mission, like even like not losing his temper with the kid. And he's like, all right, I'll give you to the count of 5 to stop screaming. And he gets to 5. He's like, all right, well, we're going to try this again. Because you can tell like he really sells it that he's not this sadistic serial killing dude. He's just trying to save humanity. And he's just this like jacked, looks like the Hulk, but like humble dude.
Plus putting yourself in that situation. Here's two that we had anticipated, but we did not like. Skinamarink and Ends Men, as far as near as misses there. Both could have been something. Both will be on lists because I can tell you right now they're on Rolling Stone's top 10 and a lot of people's top 10. Shah, Ends Men, you was probably one of your bigger disappointments of the year. For me, The Exorcist was. But was that your biggest disappointment?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, dude, that was because I mean, when we watched the trailer on the show for the first time, I went ahead and said, I already know this is going to be my number 1 movie of the year. Like,
that's tremendous.
Fuck, this looks like everything I want in a movie. And then when I watched it, I fell asleep during the first time, and I had to try again. And I was like, this is pretty brutal. Like, not much is happening. You know, there's this lady fucking staring at flowers for 45 minutes. Like, not much happens till the end. And then by the end, you have no idea what the fuck is going on. There's just I couldn't make any sense of the movie. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I didn't really like it. I was under the impression I was getting like a Wicker Man type of movie, you know, and I didn't get that at all. But Neon usually doesn't let me down. It was shot beautifully. Like the cinematography was fucking great. It was shot on 16 millimeter. Like you could see the grains, the film grains like that. It looked cool. You know what I mean?
Badass.
But as far as the actual film, though, I didn't particularly like that movie.
Now, Shot, was Outwaters also shot to 16 millimeter? I feel like it might have been.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be found footage. B-Show Skinamarink, you were excited about it, and then you were not.
No, it went on way too long. It was the concept was interesting to take the analog horror and the backrooms type of concept and apply that to some sort of shit going on in a house and to make you think about what's really going on in the movie. But it just drug the fuck on.
Yeah.
It was probably like an hour 15. It felt like it was 225. It was that long.
Yeah.
One that was not even a near miss, but I gotta mention. I saw a lot of people, and I alluded to this earlier, talking about how great Cobweb was.
Yeah,
I thought
it's got a lot
Cobweb
of
was
lists.
great up to like the second act, and then when they reveal the monster, like when
Oh,
everything turns, it completely shits the bed. Um,
unbelievable shift there, right?
like terrible CG, like the jumpy, insidious CG fucking lost me.
It
Um,
reminded me, guys, because I think we all saw it. It reminded me of *Malignant*.
oh yeah, yeah.
Remember *Malignant*? Remember we were
Malignant
laughing
was
about
better
*Malignant*?
though. Yeah,
*Malignant* was better. I hate to say.
like the
Some
monster in
people are
this was.
mentioning. I just want to bring this up before I forget. Some people are mentioning *Totally Killer*. None of us saw it. I know it's on Netflix, I believe. *Knock at the Cabin*. Some people mentioned *Thanksgiving*. I love *Thanksgiving*. It probably would have been on my top 10. It was that enjoyable. The Winnie the Pooh movies, *Blood and Honey*. People said it was one of the worst.
Sisu.
Uh,
That definitely would have been in
Sisu.
my top 10.
Well,
Yeah.
that's in my. I put that in my regular list. Which if I know I go to the movies a lot more than you guys, but as far as non-horror films, do you guys have 5 favorite films that you saw that were completely unrelated to horror,
Yeah. Do you want me
or
to just
not
name
necessarily?
all 5 at
Yeah, why
once?
don't you name all 5? Yeah, for the purpose of time. Could you name your 5 favorite films here? And if they overlap, they just overlap. But I wanted to do no overlaps, because there was a lot of good properties that came out. But do you have your top 5 favorite films, like mainstream films or non-horror films?
Yeah, I would put Sisu at number 5. Um, I would probably put Barbie at number 4.
Okay.
I actually did enjoy it. It just annoyed me with
That you enjoyed it?
the man bashing. No, the man bashing was a little bit
Okay.
heavy handed. Number 3, I would put the Super Mario movie. Number 2, I would put Oppenheimer, which I watched last week. I thought it was
Oh,
amazing. I love
amazing, right?
that movie.
Fucking incredible.
Fucking love that movie.
Mhm.
And number 1, Bo was Afraid.
Wow. Very cool.
Because I mean that can go
Wow.
non horror also, So
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
that's my
That's
favorite.
fast. That's
But
wow.
again, keep in mind I haven't seen Napoleon. I haven't seen Flowers of
Killers of
the
the Flower Moon. Yeah.
Killers of the Flower Moon, and I haven't seen Poor Things, which opens this weekend. So
Yeah.
I feel like those 3 would completely shift my whole.
Maybe or maybe not, Shah. They might not
I
have
think they
shifted it,
would.
you
I
know?
don't know. But then again,
These-
they could be ends men, all 3 of them. I don't know.
you get big budget ends, a $200 million ends, man. That sounds amazing. But wow, that's fascinating. B-Show, do you have your 5 non-horror related properties?
I don't have 5 because I saw a ton of horror this year, but I didn't check out a lot of non-horror movies. So I'll just say the one I enjoyed the most and was most surprised by was the Super Mario movie. I didn't
That's
expect,
definitely that's my number 4.
yeah, I didn't expect anything from it. I thought it was just going to be the same, rehashed, hey, let's take a property and make a movie out of it type of shit that you usually see. It was really good. It was
Yeah.
really good, and
Now
I can't
that
wait
that
to
would
see
have
the
been on your
sequel.
top 5 too, right? That was your top. Was number 3?
No, it was number 4, I think.
That was
No,
your
yeah,
number
it was
4.
it was number 3. 4 was Barbie. Yeah, it was number 3.
Okay, 4 was number 3. Okay, so B-Show, do you have any others honorable mentions there?
Not really. I saw a couple others like Across the Spider-Verse it was okay. Kind of there's a lot going on.
It's a lot like
I saw
it's like a 2-hour energy drink commercial after a while, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
it
like,
is.
yeah,
Like there's a lot of
yeah.
different styles that they use, which is cool, but there was a lot going on.
Mhm.
I saw the Turtles movie. I thought that was fun, but I mean, honestly, Knock at the Cabin I put on the non-horror list because
Interesting.
yeah, I don't know why. It seemed more like a thriller than a straight up horror movie, especially the way they cut away from some of the violence.
Okay,
Um,
they
so
did.
yeah,
They did go into
I'd put
balance.
that there, but honestly, I haven't seen many more than that. I haven't seen Sisu, I haven't seen Oppenheimer, haven't seen Barbie, so I couldn't
Well,
really rank it.
I have a top 5. My number 5 is Sizu because I just enjoyed this. Like I enjoyed that so much. My number 4 is Super Mario Brothers. I had no expectations of that, and that blew me the fuck away with how enjoyable that was to watch. My number 3 is Guardians of the Galaxy 3. It's fucking fantastic, man. I mean, it's just so fucking good. I saw that goddamn thing 3 fucking times. That's how much I enjoyed that movie. I'm dead. I saw it 3 times. 3 fucking times. And we watched it on TV when it came out, me and the kids, and we'll probably watch it for Christmas. But that movie, that trilogy holds a special place for me and my children. My number 2 is Killers of the Flower Moon. It is such a fucking rewarding theatrical experience. It really is. However, Oppenheimer is my favorite film of the year. I felt it was the best acting. Shah, the acting in that fucking movie is you feel like you're watching a
Yeah.
documentary, right?
No, it
Oh,
sucks you in, dude. It sucks you in. It's absolutely way better than I thought. I still don't understand how, you know, Barbenheimer became like a thing because
don't know.
there is, yeah, it's a very random double feature to watch, and
Yeah.
maybe I'll try it one day because I do have both movies. Maybe I'll try it, but
Now, Shah, what do you think of Downey in that? I think that was the best thing this guy's ever done in 30 years. I mean, he's got to win an Academy Award.
yeah, I mean, I wasn't I'm not an Iron Man fan, so this is definitely, probably in like 30 years, probably, yeah.
Yeah,
I'd agree with that.
What did you think of the lead? You're probably I watched Peaky Blinders, so that's where most people are familiar with him, the lead actor there.
He was great, but I don't know him from anything else. So this was the first time seeing that guy. This reminded me a lot of how good like There Will Be Blood is. Like it was like one of those type of movies. You know what I mean?
Untouchable.
It's a fucking period piece. It's a character study. I don't know. I love movies like that, especially when they have a big budget.
The Gangs of New York type of stuff.
Yeah. And this guy doesn't have much CGI in there at all, if any. So I appreciate the amount of effort that went into the movie, and knowing that, I think it just made me like the movie a whole lot more.
Yeah,
but Oppenheimer, definitely.
Yeah, and be sure you're gonna love it. It's fantastic. Now I'm gonna read some people's lists here. Joe Punch's 5 non-horror was Guardians of the Galaxy. His 4 was Super Mario Brothers. His 3 was Zissou. His overall, he put When Evil Lurks in there, and Oppenheimer is his number 1. Cleric of Chaos has 5 Killers of the Flower Moon. 4, Leave the World Behind. I did not like that. I just watched that yesterday. 3 was Oppenheimer. 2 was Super Mario Brothers. 1 was Zissou. Chris Matthews, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny 5, Super Mario Brothers 4, Across the Spider-Verse 3, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and Godzilla -1. Kevco's got his number 1 was I don't know what that
Oppenheimer.
is. Oppenheimer, sorry. Number 2, Holdovers. Holdovers is my 6th favorite movie of the year. That's fantastic. Godzilla is 3, and his 4 is Saltburn, and 5 is Spider-Verse. A lot of great. By the way, there's no wrong answers here. But if I could encourage people to see a couple of these films, I would encourage people to see The Holdovers. You're going to start hearing a lot about it now. It was only in theaters so that it could qualify for the award season. It is now available on streaming. If you're looking for a Christmas movie that's very good, that's like a good acting movie, Holdovers is up there with some of the best acting of the year. I feel like the woman in that movie is going to win the Best Supporting Actress award over what's her face, Shah, the one who plays Oppenheimer's wife, Emily Blunt. That's the direct competition there. And this other movie, she was very good. Past Lives is this very big movie that a lot of people are talking about. Didn't interest me.
A24, right?
Yeah, it is supposed to be like that film.
That's in everybody's top 3, I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, these are the 3 movies that I think are going to kick everybody in the balls. But, I think this was a very solid year with the strike. I think the strike was the underlying sort of unifier there as far as it goes. But I'm excited for next year for the horror landscape. We do have some big things coming out. Obviously, probably the thing that everybody's going to be talking about in the fall is Terrifier 3. And I think we're also getting a bunch of other things next year, B-Show, right? I mean, was there a few things greenlit for 2025, 24, right?
Maxine is coming out.
Maxine! Oh, fuck. Oh, my God.
Also, I think Nosferatu is coming out next year.
Nosferatu is coming out. There's the Wolfman. What's his face?
Lisa Frankenstein.
Oh, when's Frankenstein's next year?
Lisa Frankenstein.
I thought the whatchamacallit,
Del Toro.
Del Toro.
No,
we're getting
Imaginary.
Yeah, we're also getting Civil War. We're going to talk about that in the Patreon. So we have a bunch of things to get to in the Patreon. So we're going to continue with some different topics in the Patreon. And then just as a program note, next week is the Christmas week. We will be doing the regularly scheduled show. We'll be covering a bunch of different stuff for the holidays. And then before the end of the year, we'll be doing our last Patreon show. So Patreon people, you'll be getting your 2 bonus shows this month. Smile 2 is next year. That's right. Fuck.
Don't forget Ferrari's still coming out. And
Ferrari. Ferrari comes out. And something else comes out on the 22nd. Oh, fuck.
Don't forget Eileen is still coming out.
Yeah, that's out, I think, now. Eileen
is it? I thought it was coming out soon. That looks fucking phenomenal. And Anatomy of a Fall. Both are neon
Yes,
movies. They
that's a
look
French film. That's
fucking
another one of the
great.
top movies of the year.
Yeah, they look great, dude.
And
The Von Erich movie comes out.
Iron Claw. Yeah.
Iron Claw comes out. Wow.
Jesus.
We'll be talking probably about Iron Claw next week. It doesn't open this weekend, but that's the weekend it opens up.
Yeah.
But let's head over to Patreon. We got a bunch of stuff to get to there. I want to thank everybody for hanging out in the chat. Go ahead, Bisho.
While you pull that up, there's one more movie I want to tell people to check out because I haven't heard anyone talk about it. It's called Night of the Hunter. It hit Shudder this year. I don't know when, but basically a woman in the middle of the night. Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah,
did you love it? Okay.
Love it.
Yeah. Go check it out. Lady goes to a gas station like 2 a.m, and there's a sniper trying to pick her off. And it's basically a siege survival movie.
It's a fucked up movie.
Yeah, really interesting. So go check that one out on Shudder.
Yeah. Shah, when did you watch it? You watched it over the weekend?
Tuesday night? Monday night?
Shah, you need to watch this movie, man. It's fucking good. It's a tense motherfucker. I didn't see any of the Winnie the Poohs, actually. None of us did. I think that one of them is available for streaming. But let's get to the plugs. Let's plug Deathmatch Outlaws. Let's plug the Drew Yarsifer Experience. Cassette Classics 86 on YouTube. The Down on the Thundercast. Don Tony, he's doing shows with Kevin Castle. They're back. They're back together. They're like Felix and Oscar in The Odd Couple. They just can't quit each other. But you want to be checking them out. I know a lot of people have been very excited that they're back together doing some shows. Necromaniacs podcast. I don't know when they're doing their best of, but keep an eye. Their best of is insane. I always learn a lot about movies from their best of, so I'll be checking that out for sure, and you should too. The Human Experience podcast, and of course, my good friends Ringsiders are back across the pond. And a shout out to my good boys over there, my good friends across the pond. Mojo and Dirks was dastardly. We got the Garden of Doom. We got the Old Guy Metalcast, funkbetty.com, our dear friend, Mr. Ronald Anderson's clothing company. Please support funkbetty.com. Go buy yourself some new clothes for the holidays. And of course, MJW Kames, Cherry Jesus on YouTube, and his band Kaiser. His album is available for downloading. Red River Podcast. I'll be joining Sam Hoyos in the new year. I'll be doing a podcast. I'll be going on there. We're going to check in with Sam, our good friend over there. He's putting out the hits with his band Playing Dead. And of course, we got the Bayou Geeks. That's a Fat Hey 316, the High Marks Podcast, the Midnight Mass Creature Cast, and of course, the Weekly Detour with Anthony Allison and Teddy. We got Guns and Geeks Podcast. Shah, anything happening on Planet Mondo?
Probably not until the new year, but during the new year, I'm going to revamp the page and go to a different direction. I'm probably going to do more of like a weird side of the internet type of thing, where I just cover like weird shit on the internet, whether it's, mysteries, alien footage, creepy people, locales. Yeah, it'll be interesting. But subscribe. Find them on.
And of course, I was just going to say, and they should be subscribing, of course.
Yeah, and hit the like button, please, on this video. Hit that motherfucking like button.
Hit the like button. And of course, B Show. What's happening on the B Show Brian channel?
Nothing probably till sometime next year. Ditto to what Shah said, except for the aliens and the haunted stuff, because that sounds really interesting, but I don't know if I can make that work. Yeah, so go to bshowbrian.com and subscribe, hit that stupid bell, and you'll be notified when something new goes up.
And of course, B Show, they'll be looking forward to your Patreon special this week, right?
Yes, I didn't make it a full-blown Q&A, but I've done a couple in the past, and I tended to talk about wrestling and horror movies, and since that's a regular couple of topics we talk about on the show, I just put it to the Patreons and said, hey, if there's anything specific that you want me to cover, drop it in the comments. And I got about 5 or 6 good topics, and I appreciate everyone that took the time to post that. We haven't done a Q&A in a while. I figured it would be.
Yeah, we'll be back to them in the new year for sure.
Yeah, I didn't want to take any steam off of that because I know people probably have some good questions for us. But as far as topics, I got some good feedback. So check that out probably this weekend.
Okay, excellent. And of course, thank you to the many Patreons for supporting the show. And if you haven't checked it out, give yourself that gift. Put a little stocking stuffer for $5. You want to go to patreon.com/Spitball Media. We're going to jump into the Patreon in a moment and get that out. And by the way, Patreon members are going to get this show a day early tomorrow. We want to thank you guys for sharing your favorites with us. Thank you for everyone hanging out in the chat. And we'll see you next week for the Christmas episode of Spitball Media Podcast.
Peace.